Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be replacing all the belts and the pulleys on this BMW N52 engine. Now, as many of you guys know, this is on 130k. It's long overdue. Now, bearing in mind, this did have an oil cooler gasket leak many thousands of miles ago. And obviously my friend who owned it didn't replace the belts, the tensioner, and obviously the idler pulley. And the oil leaks down onto the tensioner, and therefore I want to replace it like I do with every N52 engine I always get. Now we are going to be replacing the tensioner, the idler pulley, which sits directly under the alternator, and the belt. So let's get onto this video.
Goddamn, get it done, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York.
Okay guys, so for this job, you're going to need a T60 Torx bit, and that's to release the tension on the belt. You're also going to need a 16mm socket, and that's going to be for your idler pulley, which sits directly on the alternator, as you'll see around there. We're going to be replacing the idler pulley after we get the tensioner off. We've also got a new bolt here as well, which is good for the new tensioner. We've also got a new tensioner here as well, and also a new idler pulley as well. Now let me just tell you, when you do search these online, companies will have you believe it's different for different cars, which is just simply not the case, and they charge more based on, depending on the model you're actually buying it for. So be careful there, because people do try and take the actual mick when you're searching for these. They'll make, like I said, have you believe if you've got an N52 B25 it's different, or if you've got a Z4, and they'll list it differently and make you pay more money than it actually needed for this one part. So do be aware of that. Now the belt you're going to be looking for your N52 engine is that right there, the 6PK1990. That is the belt you need for your N52 engine. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to just take the tension off the belt. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is you're going to want to get your ratchet in there as much as possible, and then you're going to want to press down on the belt to take the belt off, just like that, and then it will come back up. Now you do want to be careful your Torx bit don't slip, because if you do, what will end up happening is you'll thread the thread on the tensioner and you won't be getting the belt off. Now, if you can see, the belt's now come loose, so we'll just undo that and take that off. Just untangle it from where it comes round. Do remember the way this belt goes. I mean, I'll tell you how it goes after. We'll just get this belt off the here straight away. And then what we're going to do is we'll match this to the one we've already got down here to make sure it is correct. And that's the belt out. And it don't look in bad condition either. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is just take off the cap from the idler pulley. So you can probably see the idler pulley right here. And we're going to look for where to prise it off from the cap, which is right there. Take the cap off. Then we're going to use our 16mm socket. Now you don't need to worry about the bolt, guys, because you do get a new bolt with these, which you can use anyway. It's right there. This one ain't too bad, but it is covered in grease and oil. This is what was probably causing the noisy vibration on this car. When the car was actually turning, there was like a horrible whining sound and grinding noise, which will be that pulley. Now we have got our belt here as well. We're just going to measure this up to the existing one, and it is the same. Now for the tensioner, to release the tensioner bolt, you're going to need an 11mm, and you're just going to want to pull it down there and just turn it until it comes loose. And this ain't ever been changed, and these bolts are quite long, so bear that in mind. See, we'll see the state of this tensioner now when it comes out. There's the bolt out, and you can see the bolt is aluminium, so it's literally light as anything. And there is the tensioner, which will just get out. You can see there, that's in a bad state, very badly corroded, and this would have given up at any time. You can hear there, it's not good at all. You can hear it grinding right there. Shouldn't be like that, should be like that, as you can hear on the new one. But this one has had it, and the same with this. That one shouldn't have no play in it, shouldn't be spinning like that, making any kind of noise. This one probably the same. You can hear there, bearings are gone. So them ones are going to go in the rubbish. So now what we'll do is we'll put our new tensioner in, and we've got the new bolt here as well. Now these have to be torqued to 25 Newton meters. You've got to torque these up to 25 Newton meters, and then you've got to turn them at a 90-degree angle to be able to get them away to manufacturer spec. So what we're just going to do is I'm just going to hand tighten this with the socket for now. Then we'll get the torque wrench and torque this up properly, and then we'll give it a 90-degree turn, and I'll show you what a 90 degree is in a second. So now we've got our torque wrench right here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to pull it up to 25 Newton meters, which is all the way at the top. So this is literally the top one we go to. So we'll just go up all the way to 0 on that, which is right there. We've got that on 25 Newton meters. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to tighten this down. And that's now tight. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is do a 90-degree turn. Now 90-degree, guys, is you'll start your way from the top here, and you'll want to come down to about there. So we'll just do the turn right now. And that's the 90-degree turn done right there. That's all you want to tighten it. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll put the new idler pulley on. Now there is no right or wrong way to put these idler or deflection pulleys on, not like there is on the E46, E39 and the M5. You just go, put them on and just tighten them up until they're tight, which that one is. Now what we'll go ahead and do is put the new belt on. And if you can see, there's a clip inside the tensioner, and that's to hold the tensioner down, just to make our life easier. So you can see, guys, I've got it all the way routed properly. You just want to make sure it's on every pulley before you pull that pin out. So mine wasn't, so there we go, now it is. Make sure it's on the power steering pump properly. Where it's a new belt, sometimes they can be fiddly to get on the pulley. And then before you pull the pin on the tensioner, and then what will happen is it should all tension together. It's all on the alternator now, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to lock it down with our T60, pull it back, and then pull out the pin, and we are good to go right now. And you can see there, I've just took out the pin that holds the tension in place. Pin's now out and the belt is now on, and that's as easy as it's done, guys. I mean, many of you will probably say that doesn't look very easy, but it's very, very easy to change these on the BMW N52 engines. Very, very simple. You've seen I haven't had much space here because, as you know, on the 6 Series, this comes a lot more forward than it does on the E60s. So I've had very, very limited access, but I've still managed to get it done. And you've seen there, I've just replaced all the pulleys and the belt. We'll just put a new cap on here, just like that. And that is now all done. We've got a new tensioner, new idler pulley, new belt. Even though the belt looked new, but that tensioner, as I said to you, was very, very bad. And that's one of the reasons why, guys, you should always take yours off and check it, because yours could be just as bad as this one was, and making that grinding, horrible grinding sound. And that was the noise I kept hearing when I first got this car and I drove it. I could keep hearing it when it was idling. When it was sitting there, I kept hearing a grinding sound, and I did not like it, and it ended up being the tensioner and a bad deflection pulley. Now, the way the belt routine works on these is it goes up and over the alternator, under the alternator pulley, back under the idler pulley, back around power steering pump, all the way around to the aircon compressor, and then it will pull through the crankshaft pulley back up onto the tensioner. It's a very, very simple routine on the M52, and nobody can really get it mixed up. As I said, you guys just try it at home and you should be fine. Okay guys, so there you have it. I've now shown you how to replace your tensioner, your idler pulley or deflection pulley, and your belt on your BMW N52 engine. Now this is the same for the N53, and it's the same for the N54 as well. Now as you saw there, this tensioner, which is a spring-loaded tensioner, you could hear the grinding in the pulley itself, and also on the deflection pulley. These have got very, very old, and you bear in mind this car's on 130k. Even the aluminium bolt was completely run down. It had to be changed. As I said, this car had an oil leak from the oil cooler gasket, and you can see it all down here where it's run down. Just dirt and debris, all the oil on the back of the pulley as well. It was just due to fail at any moment. And like I said, when I picked up this car, I could hear a grinding sound coming from the pulleys, and I did say that to my friend, and it would have to be replaced. And this is one of the reasons why I actually bought this car cheap for this reason, because of all these bits that need replacing. Now obviously these are inner parts, and as many of you guys know, Inner's a very, very good brand. It's up there with Febi, Pierberg, and all the rest. Only use Inner ones or any other brand you can find, Febi or whatnot, because this is one thing you don't want going out on you on the middle of the road. That's why I've overhauled that now. As I said, I'm trying to make this car very, very reliable, because it is going to be a daily car after I actually finish with this car completely. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and if you do need this part, I'll try and link it in my description box below. But as you see here, you guys really need to check this, because it's very, very important, because that could have gone out on me at any time, and I don't like the sound of that bearing noise coming from that pulley. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope this video helps you change the belt on your BMW N52. Thank you very much for watching. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.